Hey guys, welcome to Night Owls, and hey Sasha, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Long time no see,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, this is I think the longest time we've been away from each other for the past week and a half. So
It
it's been
has.
a crazy time, and it was a wonderful trip we had. We'll talk a little bit about it. I think we went like 3,700 miles. Is that what I said, or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, we rented a car, and man, we put miles on it.
We did.
We went from Fayetteville, we went all the way out to LA, back to Las Vegas, and it was like an epic trip. So it is great to be back with you guys. Thank you so much, and I'm going to be back on my normal schedule tomorrow. The Ramsey Paul show comes out. I start planning to do my short videos again, and everything else. We didn't know if we're going to do a night owls tonight, but because we were kind of busy unpacking, taking care of stuff, but we decided to do it. It's a lot of fun and to get back into it. So thank you guys. And let's see the news. Sasha is my wife, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? So that's kind of the news. We got married in Las Vegas, so it was good. We had a good time. We went to the Neon
Wedding
Chapel
chapel.
downtown. It's funny because we were talking about weddings, and I look like the cost of the average wedding in Colorado. I just did in the Google machine. It says it's between $30,000 to $35,000 for the
It's
cost of a wedding,
crazy.
and that is crazy. We
It
spent a
is.
lot less than that.
Yeah. Well, my whole outfit, I spent less than $100, and a lot of people liked it too.
Yeah, it was real pretty. I tweeted a thing of it, and it was really pretty. You had flowers in your hair and everything, so it was really pretty. So it was a nice ceremony. It's something that we kind of wanted to do. And oh, we got a super chat already. Welcome back and congrats. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It was really kind of, I would say, almost a perfect trip. There
It
wasn't any
was.
really
Except
issues.
the snow.
Yeah, a little bit. And we're going to talk about our observations of the country. I wanted to kind of go over that, and it's something we can talk about. But just so you guys to know, we kind of had two reasons for the trip. The first part of the trip was supposed to be a memorial service for my father. He died in January. And so the idea was we're going to drive out to Denver for the memorial service. My brother and his family out there, and my children were going to fly out and the whole bit. And then from Denver, we were just going to go to Las Vegas. But what happened is on the day before, we were driving to Denver, but we got word there's a huge blizzard planned for Denver. And, but it was still on. So I'm like, well, we're just going to have to battle the blizzard because I'm not going to miss my dad's memorial service.
Right.
Blizzard be damn. I'm going. If it's on, I'm going. So we got through the Cherokee Turnpike uh, uh, on the in Oklahoma, Cherokee Turnpike in Oklahoma. If you guys know where that is, we were heading west, and then we got to about the I-35 exit. If you guys know where that is, you can either go north or south. And we said, well, we're going to have to make a decision. Is this still on? And my brother texted me, said, no, the memorial service has been canceled. So we canceled our hotel reservations in Denver. And it was like, okay, now what? We got the car. We're on the road trip. What do we do? And as spur of the moment, I said, hey, Sasha, maybe we could do like a reverse honeymoon and let's just head to California. Because Sasha's a big fan of Disneyland, and I like that too. And
Well, I'd never been to
well,
Disneyland
you've
before.
been to Disney World, yeah. You never been to
Right.
Disneyland. You never been to California before, have you?
Mm-mm.
And so I said, let's just road trip it, get on I-40 and
Well,
head
no,
to.
first you said, let's go to the beach. And I was like, yeah, I didn't bring a
Yeah,
bathing
yeah,
suit.
that's true.
I don't want
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
to the beach. And then you were like, well, we could go to the Universal Studios and Disneyland. And I was like, okay, let's go.
And we
Right. So
did.
we did, and it was awesome.
And we the spur, and then what happened is after I canceled the hotel reservations in Denver and we started down towards New Mexico, that type of thing. My brother texted back saying it was back on. There was like a confusion. So they actually did have the memorial service, but over half the people canceled. They had my stepmother said they had like 18 inches of snow. Is that much or
Yeah, it
even
was
more?
on national news.
Yeah.
Brandon said, remember, he said that it was like news, like big news. But I mean, we drove, and I said, well, if you still want to go, we can. But I did the GPS, and from here, it was about 11 hours to drive there. Okay, wherever we were I guess we're in Texas.
Hmm.
It would have been another 11 hours. So basically, we would have lost 6 hours. And like you said, we wouldn't have got there till midnight. And they did end up closing the highway. So
Yeah.
we would have probably got trapped there if we even got in there to begin with. Might have been in your car during the service. Who knows?
Yeah, so there was like really no way. I think it was in New Mexico, or yeah, that we got the word. So we're like, well, it's too late. We canceled everything, and we can't get there. We'd get there in the middle of the night in one of the biggest snowstorms in like 10 years, and we would have been stranded. And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do that. So we went ahead, went to California, and we had a great time there. And then we looped around. We went to Vegas after that. Then on the way home, we stopped in again in Denver, and I saw my stepmother, and we had dinner. So that was pretty nice too. A couple of observations though. It was, well, getting back to the wedding thing. I think I saw statistics of the least amount of money you spend. There's a correlation between the money you spend on the wedding and how long the marriage lasts. And the more you spend on the wedding, the shorter the marriage
Yeah,
lasts.
I believe it.
Yeah, because you're doing it for the wrong reason. So our marriage should last for like 500 years because it was like a
Yeah,
really inexpensive wedding. But that's how we wanted it. We didn't have anyone there really except for the people that officiated it. And no, it wasn't Elvis. It was a nice ceremony. But yeah, that happened. Oh, we got a super chat, and also I got a
you had some
power
power
chat.
chats. Somebody said.
Yeah, I got that. I'm gonna get to that. And guys, I feel bad. Is Sasha, I haven't done this like in a week and a half. I'm like,
Yeah,
how do I do this? How do I set this up? What do I do?
you're out of practice.
I know. And if you guys hear, this is the weirdest thing. Every time I go on vacation, I get a cold at the end of it. I don't know why.
No,
But
that
that
happened to
happened last time.
me. I went
Yeah,
to see Sarah this summer, and I got like a flu like the day before I was supposed to fly back, and I was so sick I just laid in bed all day. And then the next day, or that night, my flight was canceled, and I was kind
Mhm.
of glad because I was so ill. I didn't think because I had a fever and everything. And then you said it happened to you. And my friend right now, her kid's going on his spring break tomorrow, and she's going to Minneapolis from Illinois, and she's sick. And
Yeah.
she's like worried about like, oh shit, because she's taking him there for a spring break. And so I don't know. It just seems common the minute you need to go somewhere, you get ill.
Yeah, I know that it does happen. It's weird how that happens. And I got a cold last night. It's not bad though. I hope it doesn't get worse. So I got some medicine.
Just relax and
Yeah, and so let's get to the power chats, the super chats. Get another super chat here. 9 ounces greater than Hooters. Good job conquering the snow runner. Yeah, when we came back from Las Vegas, heading into Denver, we actually got stuck on I-70. I mean, we didn't get stuck in the snow. I-70 was actually closed for 1 hour near the Eisenhower Tunnel. If you guys are familiar with Colorado, that's on top of the Continental Divide and up near in that area, all the ski resorts. And it was a weird freak snowstorm. They said that high, and they shut everything down. So we were just in the car waiting. And after about an hour, it got going again though. But so we did have to battle the snow, but we did that okay. And let me get the power chats. We got a power chat from Robert. Uh, Hey, Robert. News since you were gone. Christ is king is anti-Semitic phrase now. Candace Owens has gone from Con Inc. signaling a shift in your view, Rams. Last question. Elon Musk and Don Lemon, your view of that interview. I didn't see the Elon Musk and Don Lemon interview. I know it didn't go well with Don Lemon. But, Elon Musk didn't ban him from the site. Candace Owens, I knew that was going to happen because she was really pushing on the whole Israel thing. And I think there's a real split within the conservative or Republican Party of what does it really mean to be conservative or patriot or American or whatever you want to call us on the right. Is it you put America first or do you put Israel first? And there's a contingent like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Asa Hutchinson, Mike Pence, Lindsey Graham. And there's a bunch of people that know Israel comes before America. And there's another contingent. They're not necessarily anti-Israel, but they are, no, we should look after America first. This is America. It's not Israel. And so we're really seeing, I think, the split within the base on this. And I would say the base right now is more, except for the older boomers, and there's exceptions, is getting away from we got to put Israel first. So I'm not really surprised that happened to her. She was kind of pushing it. And so, yeah, that's kind of, I was never a huge fan of hers anyway, though, to be honest. I think she got famous because she's, the base black woman type
She
of thing.
did.
And don't feel sorry for her, guys. She was making like $3 million doing her stuff on
Well,
the
not just that, but we were listening to the thing Mark Dice said she
Yeah.
married a guy that's worth like 100 million. He's the heir to some metal factory or metal something. I don't know. So she's
husband,
rich already.
so she doesn't need like $5 super chat. So don't feel sorry for her. She's loaded. So she's not going to go bankrupt or anything like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, the Christ is King thing is, well, I think it's just a weird, here's how you have to do it. There, you have your religion and you have your country. And as a Christian, the traditional Christian faith, and you guys don't have to believe this, and I don't get into debating religion a lot, but the Christian faith is an exclusive religion. And because Jesus said there's only one way to God is through him. No one cometh to the Father but by me, he says. So the only way to heaven is through Jesus. It's not through Judaism. It's not through Islam. So part of the reason of Christianity is to evangelize and bring everyone to Christ. Now in Christianity, it is a universal religion, though, in the sense that everyone can come to Christ, even Jews, they can come to Christ. And people that were Muslims, they can repent of their sin and come to Christ. So it's not like a specific religion that excludes people. So Jews, obviously, most of the the New Testament apostles were Jewish, and Apostle Paul was Jewish, but he became a Christian. So Christianity is an exclusive religion, and it is clear in the Bible that we proclaim that Christ is King. That is a Christian concept. And that I saw there's some Jewish guy, Sasha, that got all upset about Candace Owens saying Christ is King, saying that's anti-Semitic. And it's not. It isn't. I guess it depends how you look at it, because I think that the modern version they want you to have is religion is like a cafeteria food where everyone, it doesn't really matter what you choose. You can be Muslim, you could be Jewish, you can be Christian. It's all the same, or Hindu. And it doesn't really matter. But the traditional view is, yeah, it does matter. There is a truth. There are false things. Judaism is false. Islam is false. Christianity is the way. That's the Christian view. And you may not like it, but that's what it is. And so there's kind of this tension there. And what has happened is so many Christians, so-called Christians, let's say Mike Pence, Asa Hutchinson, but so many others that proclaim Christ, but they really, because they're scared of the influence of Israel and that, they really kind of become heretical based on their own faith. So this is what we're seeing at it now. Now, the whole Christ is King thing, I don't really, if you're using this just to troll someone or anything like that, I don't think that is the proper way to do it. And so, just yelling that like you have Asperger's, I think I get it. You're trying to get a reaction out of people. And I don't think that's an effective thing to do. So I think the basic process is we as Christians, we do believe in a certain thing that you have to come via Christ. However, we understand that there's other people have other beliefs and we can work together with you, but we're not going to compromise our beliefs because it hurts your little feelings or something like that. And I think that's kind of where that is. So I did see that was a big issue there. So thank you for that. All right. So that was kind of a basis of thank you. And if you guys have more super chats or power chats or rants, send them in. I'll check the Rumble too. So couple of observations. I thought we'd just talk about our views of what we saw on the road trip because one of the things, Sasha, I was just thinking because we have a friend in Australia. Well, we haven't met him, but he's thinking about coming to the United States. And I think it'd be if you could do it, rent a car and drive through like Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. Those areas are beautiful.
They are. I
And
thought Utah was probably the prettiest state we drove through.
it's just gorgeous on I-70. You see so many weird rock formations, and it's not like Kansas is very flat and farms, but in Utah and western Colorado, you don't really have that many farms because of the climate. And so you see a lot more wild land, and it's really spectacular. And I thought New Mexico was beautiful too, in northern Arizona. So that whole area is pretty neat. So I enjoyed it, and America is a very beautiful country, and there's a lot of neat things to see that if you take the time to do that. So I highly recommend if you guys can do a road trip, do it. We like doing the road trip. It gave us a lot more flexibility because we weren't flying, and so that was a good thing. Let's see here. My kind of vibe of each state, I'll just kind of go through. I won't do Arkansas because we live here in Oklahoma. I used to live there. New Mexico, though. What do you think of New Mexico, Sasha?
Oh, I've liked New Mexico. I've been to New Mexico a couple times before. I used to have friends that lived there. I like it. It seems like a laid back state to me.
Yeah, it's kind of got an artsy feel about it. At least we went through Albuquerque, and it's I like the vibe of New Mexico. It kind of reminds me of Colorado years ago, and so that was a nice state. I definitely could see living there. And Arizona, what do you think of Arizona? The part we didn't go through much, but the part we went through, like Flagstaff and such.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, I liked it. I like most places. I don't know. I can find fun anywhere I go, really.
In California, that's the first time in California. What did you think of the California and the people and everything?
I like the weather. I mean, we didn't really talk to many people. There was some weirdos like the night we got there and we stayed in Anaheim. There was some weird homeless lady that wanted to use my phone, and I was like, no. And she was
no, not going to give my phone to some weird homeless lady.
To some stranger.
Yeah, California has a lot of problems. One of the things that first hits us when we went to California is how expensive it is. I don't know how people live there.
It's like almost $6 in some places for gas.
Yeah, it was $5.50 or something, $5.60 per gas, and at the same time, it's like $3.10.
The grocery store wasn't horrible though. We did go to a grocery store, and I didn't think it was like as crazy as I would have thought. But gas was definitely a lot, and I'm sure rents and everything are probably sky high.
And they have all these stupid warning signs, like when we went to Disneyland in the parking structure, the warning. Breathing in the fumes in this parking lot could be deadly to your health. I'm like, well, what do you want us to do? Hold our breath?
Right. But, I mean, that's ridiculous.
California is, I'm sure you've heard, Sasha, we talked about, but a macro tyranny. And that's where they are such like a Karen state, and all these little things trying to control your life. But then meanwhile, people are looting and stealing, and they don't arrest those people. It's a really strange dichotomy there.
It is.
And so I kind of got that too. So I don't know how Southern California is really beautiful. The palm trees, the weather was perfect. But man, everything is so expensive there. I don't know how people make it. I mean, I know the rent's expensive. Houses are like, I don't think you'd get a house under $1 million. And it's just the gas prices are high because I guess they have a high tax. So, I
had fun there. I mean, I would go back and see more stuff because we went down to like this walk. What's it called? The Stars, where the stars.
The Hollywood Boulevard, I think, where they have
is it the Walk of Fame or whatever it's called? Like, and it was an accident that we even went there.
Yeah, we just happened to find it. We weren't looking.
Well, I wanted to get some souvenirs, like from a cheap souvenir place, because everything at Universal Studios, which I did buy some stuff there, but it wasn't anything like that. It was like Harry Potter stuff and E.T. and stuff like that, but. I found on line. I was like looking, and there was a place, and it wasn't real far from when we left Universal, and so we went, and we're just walking, and I see Pee Wee Herman's star, and it was so
Yeah.
cool. It's like right there, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. It was right by the by all the souvenir shops. I wish we could have walked down more. So I got Mr. Rogers' picture and Dr. Seuss and Pee Wee and Norma Shearer. But there were a lot of people I'd never even heard of, and there were some old actors like silent movie days on the star. What is it called? Is the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I guess, or whatever it's called. I don't know. It was neat though. It'd be fun to go if you had more time, find a good parking spot and just walk down and look at everything. I'd like to go to that wax museum sometime too.
Oh, we got a $50.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations. This month also makes 10 years since I saw you at Amran. Thanks for 10 years of content. Holy Ghost. Well, thank you very much.
Wow, you went to Ameren 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2014. Boy, time really
Wow.
flies.
Is
That's
that the
amazing.
first time you went?
I think so. It was a great experience. I really did enjoy it. So I hope I met you, Holy Ghost, and thank you very much for your generous donation. We really do appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
That's really nice of you. Yeah, I did enjoy Amran, and so thank you for that. Yeah, another thing I noticed, and I kind of tweeted about it, and it's sort of, I don't know, I'm not saying black pill, but when you go around the normal people, we're not going to be going to Mars with the people in America anymore.
No.
These people look pretty vacant, and it's just this weird mix of people, and it doesn't it's just it doesn't have the same vibe America used to have. I remember in like the 80s, the 70s and 80s, California, the Golden State surfers and all that. Now it's very third worldish, and the people are all, I don't know, they look like they're from Venezuela or something, usually obese, tatted up, kind of a vacant look in their eyes. And when you see that and hordes of these people, you realize in many ways the country we used to know is gone. You can keep away from that when you live in your bubble, like I kind of do here. Although we're getting some of that here, but man, when you get out, you really just see it's just like it's yeah. I think white people were the minority there, even in Disneyland.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it was.
It was like
Oh,
that. I went to Sesame Place last summer
mhm.
with Sarah. We went, and it was we were in the minority. It was mostly like Africans, I would
Yeah,
say. But she said
I,
it was probably because we're close to Philly. But it was, I'd bet 80% black.
yeah. Now, to be fair, California is not that high black. I would say it was. I think the in the park, and who knows if the park is representative of the whole state? Probably not. So I know
No,
disclaimer, but I would say it's like 50% some sort of Hispanic-ish. I don't know. That kind of the kind of brown and squat with a lot of, and they're pushing with a lot of kids in strollers. You didn't see many. Which is weird because the original Disney, if you see back in the 50s, early 60s, you would see all these families, white families with kids. You didn't see that many right now. It seemed like most of them were like Hispanic, and I don't want to say Mexican because I think they were from all over, pushing strollers. And there were some blacks, but not that many in Southern California and Disneyland. Now, to be fair, I gotta say, I mean, you always see these videos of fights in World Star. We didn't see anyone fighting or anything.
well, I
And
almost saw a fight in Vegas though.
yeah, well,
Like
yeah,
it was kind of funny. It was the last day there. We stayed at Excalibur, and I was in line getting like Starbucks, and this woman was just like, "Yeah, I know you upset," and it was funny. And they started she started shouting at him, and everyone in line was looking. I was like, "All right, we're gonna get a show before we leave Vegas," but and if it happened, I'd already checked out, and we were gone. So
oh yeah, and it was a demographic people can probably guess, right? That
yeah,
were,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
funny. I laughed. I was
yeah,
waiting for something to happen, but
yeah. You're going to get a World Star moment.
they were.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
actually, it was some poor guy being like, kind of like cursed at in line at Starbucks. So he didn't say anything. I think he was scared of the woman.
was that her husband or something, or the
I don't
guy?
know. Just some dude she was with, and they were fighting and arguing really loudly in line at the Excalibur. Which
Yeah.
is funny because that's the one that all the kids stay at besides Circus Circus.
Yeah, well, it's just really weird, the differences between groups of people, and that demographic has the hardest time doing things without having trouble.
Mhm.
It's even and even I would give like the Hispanics at Disneyland, they were able. I mean, it didn't really look like they're not going to get us to the Mars or anything, but they were functioning.
Right.
But in the other demographic, using my words here carefully, it's it's always you know mayhem.
Nothing, yeah.
It gets so much, well, I did that. It's just a thing. Like I was checking back into the line after I left the park because we took our little dog button, and I was like, oh, okay. Here's a group. I'm not going to stand behind them because I know they're going to be a confusion with the cashier or the ticket taker. And yep, there was. And so it's just amazing how that, no matter where you go in the country, that's the way it is too.
Hmm.
And you could just, it's just like clockwork. So now the woke stuff, I didn't. We went to the that store in Disneyland where that famous dude that dresses up like a princess is. You remember?
No, he was a
But
fairy godmother, I
we
think.
didn't see him there though.
No, I wonder if they got rid of him or something because of the backlash.
There's been. I did you hear? I heard that Google got rid of their Black History Month or whatever. They no longer celebrate that. And the embassies, did you see the embassies no longer are going to fly the homosexual flag or the Black Lives Matter flag
That's
anymore?
good. They shouldn't fly that stuff anyway.
No,
I
there should
mean,
just be one flag for
just the
all
American
Americans.
flag,
But
right?
are we seeing maybe a little backlash against all the
I
super
think
woke
we
stuff?
are. I think we are.
Yeah, and it's don't get me wrong, it's not like Disney's full of like conservative Republicans anymore. Don't by far, I'm sure they're all shit libs, but I didn't see much. At least when we were there, I didn't see any LGBTQ stuff for the most part. I guess you saw some in the shops. I didn't see it, but it
Well, yeah,
wasn't
they have
really
like rainbow stuff, but I remember when the rainbow didn't mean gay or
right.
anything. It was just a rainbow.
I just didn't from all the stories I heard about how they push all this stupid woke stuff, and I think they probably did, but now you don't see it as much. It doesn't mean they don't support that, but I do think that is a little bit. There has been a backlash a little bit. People are tired of this, and I think companies are slowly. It doesn't mean they're like on our side anyway, but they're kind of I think scaling it back a little bit. Um, I don't know. That's kind of the impression I got. I didn't see anything being pushed in Disney that was, you know,
Oh, I didn't either.
maybe there it was. I just didn't see it, and we had a good time there.
Yeah, we
Uh,
did. I actually like Disney more than Universal. Universal's cool because they have the Mario, but man,
yeah,
it was
it,
so
it
packed.
was impossible to
two
really
hours to
enjoy it.
ride one freaking ride.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
was just like, we need to come back when it's old. Because I went to
yeah,
Universal Studios in Florida back in like 2009 or 10.
hmm
And it was right after the Harry Potter part had opened. And it was the same way. It was packed. And this
right.
time we were able to go in Harry Potter and look at stuff. And you were able to ride the ride in no time. And if that had been like when I first went to the one in Florida, it would have been the same way. It would have been really long waits. So I think eventually, when the new wears off, in like so many years, you'll be able to go through, like, do the Mario rides and stuff. But I just took a lot of pictures. I got a picture with Toad. It was cute because he was so tiny. I think a
hmm
lot of people didn't see him because if not, I imagine his line would have been long. They had a line for what was Mario and Luigi were going to come out, and it says the times, like when they're going to come out. There was people waiting an hour before, just getting in line. So that line was going to be insane. Like by the time it happened, I mean everything had a line,
Yeah,
and
it's
so
almost
it was
like
just
Universal. I think they should restrict how many people get in because they let too many people in, so it becomes
right.
impossible
But then
to
if you
enjoy.
did though, we wouldn't have got to see what we did though. That's the
Yeah,
thing. I'm glad because if
I
we did
get
that
it.
spur of the moment, we wouldn't have been able to look at anything. And I was happy just to go and take photos, and I had a good time. I like Disney a little more because Disney has more rides that I like.
Tony, $3. Ramsey, you said you saw all business owners in these cities as Indian, Muslim, or Arab. At least the hotels and the gas stations. Yeah. we hear about this white privilege, but how many business owners you saw were white males or females? Well, that's because a lot of these Indians and stuff, they got special loans from the government. That's why you see a lot of that. And yeah, you did definitely see a lot of that in gas stations and so forth. It's
Well, I was surprised that quite a few of the hotels we stopped at, there were like white people working there, or people that spoke English well anyway. Because a lot of
yes.
times you go places and it's like the people barely speak English, and I didn't think it was so much like that this time.
Oh, we got another super chat. So thank you. This is really nice. Here
Oh,
it is.
wow.
Dan Davis, $50. Thank you,
Wow,
Dan.
that's
I
awesome.
really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you, Dan. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it was good. It's good to get back and see everyone and get back into this. I'm glad I'm doing this tonight, Sasha, so I'm ready for tomorrow about how to
Right, like
stream.
practice.
Yeah, I kind of forgot. I had it like, oh, how do I
I
set up
almost forgot. I
Rumble?
got like wrapped up in looking at stuff online, just
Yeah,
kind of relaxing. Just kind of worn out, having to unpack, and
yeah,
it's just been like just nonstop having to do stuff. And it was kind of like relaxing. Then I looked down. I was like, oh shit, it's 8:45. I need to get ready.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I would say this though. I mean, we did run into a lot of people that were very nice people,
We did. I had a
and
great
so
time. I
there's a
can't
lot
really
of yeah.
complain.
Yeah. So I mean, I think one of the things we always have to be careful of, because when you look at Twitter, you would think everyone out there is like going wild, killing and looting, and and that's all there is. But I think that's kind of a skewed perspective, and I get it because that's what is. You don't film
Sells.
normal people, right?
Right. Well, and it sells like to
Yeah,
scare
it
people.
does.
And
And so and again, so we were in Disneyland and there wasn't any like fights we saw or looting or some weird drag queen running around. There could have
no.
been. We didn't see him though. So I think a lot of that is you got to put that kind of balanced a little bit. Now, Colorado, man, what a weird state. That state has changed so much from when I used to live there. It's such a Karen state now. It's
It
just
is.
what was that thing I mentioned that was so Karen about that they were doing?
I don't remember now. I remember California was a Karen state too.
Yeah,
What
they
was
just
that? I don't even remember now.
I don't even remember. It's just it's just how yeah. Well, when we were going to see Meow Wolf, I think that was it, and all the rules
Oh
and
my
everything.
God. Well, they're all those Meow Wolves seem to be that way though. They just root
Hmm.
through your stuff. I was like, I'm leaving my purse in the car and just bringing my wallet and phone because they
Yeah,
when we went to the one in Vegas, not this last time, but the time before. I remember I set the alarm off somehow. Remember that? And it was just
you
this
know,
big word. Do you have anything in my purse? And they have just this list of stuff you're not supposed to have. And it's like I get it. You don't want people messing the art up, but it's like you have people working there. You have cameras everywhere. Like, why do you have to root through people's stuff like
yeah.
that? Just go through a metal detector if you're that worried about it. Though, if that's not good enough, they have to do all this other stuff. And I noticed when we went and saw O at Bellagio, that was like the only place that they didn't go through my bag. Like that and
Hmm.
Potted Potter were like the only two places that nobody went through my stuff. Oh, the demographics there were funny. That was
Oh,
like a majority like white, like, and there
yeah,
was
that
like almost no minorities at that. So if you want to see minority free thing, like go to Harry Potter thing because that's
yeah, deals. And there's a book on tape session I had that we were listening to. I never really read Harry Potter, so the first Harry Potter, what is it? Harry Potter and the
Sorcerer's Stone.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Well,
We were
I've been
listening to that.
listening to all of them again on audiobook, and before we left town, I was on book 7, or I was going to start book 7, and I felt like listening to it, and yeah, I figured you'd fall asleep or you wouldn't care, so we put it on, and Paul got interested enough, he wanted to start from the beginning, so we probably got halfway through book 1 on the way home, because book 1's kind of short, but
Yeah,
they get
I kind
better,
of
like I
enjoyed it. Yeah,
said, they
I
get
kind of enjoyed
better.
it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I know a lot of younger people. It seems like everyone young. I know my daughter's into it and everything. So I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
mean,
a great.
everyone old's into like everyone I know likes it. My friend Mark, I got him for his birthday because he reads Latin and speaks Latin. I got him like a couple of them in Latin, and he got
Hmm.
into it too. And I don't remember how far he got into it, but my brother read up to the first 4. I had this friend, and she's like in her 70s now, and she just loved Harry Potter, but she had to denounce it because she got into this weird religious cult. And so anything she liked, she basically had to give it up. So I don't think she's allowed to like Harry Potter anymore. But before the cult, she loved Harry Potter. Like her and her friend even dressed up like wizards and went to this thing at Barnes and Noble where they were like fortune tellers. She was all into, and we were all reading book 7 when it first came out. Like everyone I knew was on book 7 because I remember we couldn't talk about certain things. We'd have to go, okay, what chapter are you on? Because we didn't want to ruin it for someone else.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting. Oh, I got we got another, not I, we got another super chat. Dylan, thank you, Dylan, Sega supporter. $21. That's a unique amount. I like it. What do you call an antisocial merchant? In Asperger, he's a burger where the class of craftsmen and merchants in medieval Europe. I did not know that. I did not know that. What do you call an antisocial merchant in Asperger? The burgers were a class of.
That's actually not a bad joke.
I know it is funny. Dylan is he's in our Gumroad, and if you guys are not part of it, join. He's so funny. He reminds me of Sam Hyde. So
I saw Carrie's in the chat, and I want to thank you. She sent something. We got a bunch of stuff from our wedding registry too.
Yeah,
and if I have your address, you're going to get like a thank you card. But if I don't, I'll just thank you on here. And I wrote the names down if you want me to read the rest of them.
Yeah, and I want to. I got a mail from someone real nice, and I left it in the car. I'll get to that later, but I want to thank.
I have some.
Yeah, and we got Leslie. She wrote that book. She sent us nice bowls. Thank you, Leslie. And Dave, he's our great friend in the Fort Smith area. He's just like a friend of ours, but he gave us an air fryer, right?
Yeah, and he's giving me a piano, him and his wife, because they don't want it anymore. So at some point I have to get a U-Haul or something to get that down there because I'm taking lessons. And I have my keyboard, but it's so much nicer to have a piano than a keyboard. I don't know. It just sounds better to me. But do you want me to go?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying, do you want me to run down this list real quick, or do you want?
Yeah, let me do the super chat first from KMax because he gave $20, and KMax is a good friend of ours, and thank you, a great supporter. KMax is great to see you. How was the obesity where you guys were at? Were there a big fattening cheeseburgers, portion sizes out of control? Yes. The biggest issue on vacation is eating out and the portions they give you. How did you guys eat on this trip? Well, I would say, how would the obesity? I would say most people are fat. Wouldn't you say?
I think so. Yeah, I'd say most. I'd say 80% probably, at least where we were. But you got to think, we were in like the indulgent capital of the world. We were in Vegas. We were at like the theme parks. So it is a lot of people that are in really bad shape. Like I feel like, wow, I'm like almost 45 and I can get around pretty good. And a lot of these people can't. But I work, like my job, I'm up on my feet and I have trouble sitting still. I would hate to be where I couldn't like walk around, and I don't know. But yeah,
it is
a lot of obesity.
I would say it's the norm at this point.
It is.
It's, to me, like you're in your 40s, Sasha, but to see a woman in her 40s that's not obese is pretty rare anymore, sadly.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
And guys too. Guys too. I mean, I'm not just picking on women. Guys are that way too. And I want to lose a few pounds, but yeah, I mean, it's, sometimes I'm 60 years old, but I can still get around. I'm not in a scooter. I can, there's a lot of things I'm really blessed about. So I'm happy with my health I get tired easier, but I can still get around. And I
have aches and pains and stuff. Like from being in the car, I'm all stiff and my
that was a hard thing.
Stuff. I have aches and pains, believe me, but I still can walk around pretty good. But
that's the thing that got me is being in a car for 14 hours and you get out of the car, you're so stiff. It is the thing.
The longest haul was from New Mexico to LA. It was like 14 hours. And we drove, we stayed the night in New Mexico and then we drove all the way to LA and got there kind of late and stayed the night, got up and went to the parks. But yeah, I didn't eat. My stomach doesn't handle the road well anyway.
Getting to the food, I do want to do a shout out. If you go out to eat at restaurants, they in Las Vegas, there can be really good places. On our wedding day or whatever, that evening we ate at an Irish place. It was really good. It was really
it was awesome. It was called, what was it called? Like 7 Irishmen or something like that, or 9.
Yeah,
Irish.
I think it was in
New York, and
New
Vegas.
York, yes.
If you ever go, really it's so good. Well, we went to another place. It was like English food. you remember
Yeah,
what the name of that
off the
was?
strip. No, is I'd have to look it up because one of the advantages, because we had a car, we could go off the strip and look in TripAdvisor, but it was really good food. So there was some really good food we had there. Portion sizes are, yeah, part of the problem we have when we in town here in Fayetteville, portion sizes are huge, but it's not a big deal because typically Sasha does the same. We cut the food in half, and then we have like a something for the next day. So let's say if I go out and eat at the Black Bear or at the Village Inn, I get an omelet. It's really enough for two people, so I eat half of it. The another half I take home and have in the morning for breakfast. So yeah, it is a thing. We did a lot of the just kind of quick food too. I mean, because we had the car, we were able to go to the grocery store and we went to Whole Foods and had some of their stuff. And I don't know, it was pretty good.
It
We
was.
didn't go anywhere super fancy or whatever. We're on a budget. We don't have
That
a.
Irish place was probably the fanciest place we
It
went.
was. That's probably the most
Oh no,
expensive
we
place.
did eat at the buffet at the Excalibur, I guess. So
Yeah,
that
we
wasn't
did that. That
fancy.
is it. Yeah, we splurged on that, and that was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
buffets are pretty expensive out there, but that was good. So, oh, and if people are asking about gambling, we didn't gamble much. We're pretty
A
conservative,
little bit.
and Sasha lost a little money, and I won it probably about the equivalent. So, like $37, I won or something. I didn't play a lot, so
You basically won what I lost.
pretty much, yeah. So,
But we had
yeah,
fun. I played for a long time. I played that horse game.
yeah, and
That's
I
my
played bubble
addiction.
craps, $3 a thing, and I went up and down, and then I walked away when I was up. So it
You
was a
did
lot
that
of
a lot, though. It seemed like every time we'd go to a casino, you'd gamble, and then
fun.
you'd
Mhm.
get up and you'd quit.
That's what I do. I get up and I
Yeah.
quit. That's the key. Walk
But you
away
went to
from the
several
machine.
different ones and got up and quit.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Most gamblers, by the way, will never. And when I used to play blackjack competitively, I guess you call it, when I play seriously, not just for little money, but thousands of dollars. Um, One of the things I learned is people usually will not. They won't walk away a winner. They'll stay there till they lose it all. It's a weird psychology. You got to have the psychology that when you get up a certain amount, that you're going to walk away with it. And it's tough. It's tough to do, but I tend to do that.
Yeah,
So
because
we
you
did
get
that.
hooked onto doing it or you win. That's what
Yeah,
I do too. It's like,
it's very
oh,
rare for someone that's winning to stop. And
yeah.
I've always taught myself when I'm winning, I get to a certain point and I'm like, okay, I am done. So that was it. Oh, and it was funny. All the stuff that happens in Vegas, I happened to meet a guy in our elevator that was going to a pizza convention. I mean, they have such the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. And then we were in Colorado. We went to this Italian restaurant. I took my stepmother, and she said, "Oh, I just got back. I was at a pizza convention." I'm like, "Were you in Las Vegas?" She said, "Yeah." So they have so many weird conventions out there too, pizza conventions.
I
And
do. It's so much fun. I love Vegas.
it's nice. And we went at a perfect time of year in March. It wasn't too hot and it wasn't super cold. So it was a real nice time.
It was.
This was, yeah, summers are pretty brutal, but spring and fall is pretty nice. So, yeah, so that was that. And let me just take a look here, make sure I don't want to miss any rants. So it's good to have all the Rumble people. So that was kind of the vibe of just going through all America. I really did enjoy it. It's the longest road trip I've done for quite a bit.
Since I was
And
in after high school, I went on a road trip to New York, and that
yeah,
was pretty long. That was like 24-hour drive, I think, or 20 something hours. So this was since high school. This was the longest road trip. Usually it's like we go to Illinois or go to Colorado, somewhere that's not super far away. But this was pretty
well,
far. It was fun.
Getting to LA from Arkansas in 2 days, that's a long trip.
It
So
is. But we
that
took turns driving, and
we did, and we could sleep a little bit in the car, and so that was good. So that was it was interesting. So, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
me
So
too.
it was a good thing to do it, and yeah, that's kind of what happened there. Do you have
Oh
any
yeah.
other? Oh, go ahead,
Somebody
Seth.
said that I'll probably hit up the dispensaries. It's like, yeah, I mean, It was like legal in almost every state we went in. And then the guy at the toy store was even telling me the best place to go in Colorado to get some when we weren't there. Because he said that brought a lot of people to Colorado. But he was cool, man. He was like a year younger than me. And we just kind of talked about toys. And he know I like girl toys. So he brought this like box of toys out that they didn't have on the shelves. And there were some little chipettes in there and some other stuff. So that was fun.
And we also, if you guys are in Colorado or Lakewood, Colorado, I grew up in Lakewood, Colorado, basically, went to Greenmount High School. And there's a masterpiece cake shop.
Yeah, it's really good.
And that's the guy that's constantly being sued by the homosexuals and transgender people because he's just a little shop. He actually works there, and you can see him when he walks in. And he's a Christian, and anyone that comes in, you can buy his stuff. That's fine. But if they want to make him design a degenerate cake, and he said, "Sorry, I won't do that because of my beliefs." But there's like 1,000 other bakeries that will, but that's not good enough for these freaks. So
they're just targeting that guy because
they are targeting him
because they live in Colorado. You could go to any baker. I bet 99.9% of them are not going to have a problem with baking you cake. Well, he doesn't either. He just doesn't want to bake stuff like that.
Well, as I said, it'd be equivalent if you went into a Jewish bakery and said, "I demand that you make a happy birthday Hitler cake with swastikas."
Right.
And then if they don't, you sue them. It's the equivalent is what they're doing there. And Colorado's so screwed up now. And I felt this guy too, by the way, he's not political. He just has a little small bake shop, his bakery. It's on Wadsworth, if you guys know where that is. If you're in Denver area, you may know, on Hampton. And he has an employee there, but he works all the time too. I guess he's around my age. He's had this for years. It's just this little family bakery. And again, he doesn't care about your sexuality. If you buy stuff there, buy his cakes or muffins, he just won't do these offensive designs for people. And it's just tyranny, it really is. He won in the Supreme Court, but they're coming back at him again. Colorado is so out of control.
Well, I told them when we were there, I said, you guys should sue them for harassment. And they said, trust me, we've talked about it. Because, they're blatantly going after that guy.
Yeah.
And he's really talented. I'm not just saying that because he's a nice guy, but like if you look at his cakes, I mean,
oh yeah, he's
really impressive. It is an art. Like you can tell if you go in there, it's not just like a normal bakery. Because a lot of the bakeries now, it's like they use a lot of that screen. Like if you go to Walmart and get a cake, I'm not saying they're not good because I've bought cakes from there too, but they don't do as much. They don't put as much time into it. Like you can tell he had a cake of like Abraham Lincoln, and it looked like he drew it on the cake.
Yeah,
it was really impressive. So.
We've gotten so far from, and I knew this would happen, like, well, I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, too. Damn it, I want you to make me a cake that violates your religion. You have to do it. I mean, it's so un-American.
It is un-American.
The whole an artistic expression, you shouldn't have to force, like, Jewish people to bake a Nazi cake. Or could you imagine if you had, like, a Islamic bakery and you said, oh, I wanted you to make a cake with an image of Muhammad on it,
Oh, they wouldn't do it. Well, Stephen Crowder did that years ago. He went to Dearborn, Michigan and tried to get them to do a gay wedding. They wouldn't do it. Nobody's suing them,
No, they just target Christians because I believe Christianity is a true religion, and so that's why they do it. There's a satanic element, but it's made me so anti that whole Rainbow Coalition. The way they behaved is
shit. I know gay people that are anti that Rainbow Coalition, and that's the reason because they've become a bunch of bullies.
It is. It's just a bully. It's just like respect his faith. There's like a million other cake
just
shops
go
in
somewhere
the Denver
else.
area that you can, if you want your degenerate design cake celebrating your sex change or whatever it is. But it was sad. He's just like a white Christian man. I'd guess around 60, and it's just sad what happens to him.
It is sad.
So we saw him and we wished him well, and we bought some cupcakes there, I think. So it was
we bought brownies.
Oh, brownies. That's right.
Mine was mint, and it was really good.
I had a good one.
And you got cheesecake, I think, didn't you?
Or cream cheese or something. It was really good, though. So if you guys are ever in Denver, support him. Because I always like to support people that are under attack.
Me too, and he definitely is. And his stuff's good, too.
Yeah, it really is. So, and he doesn't even want to be in the spotlight, but they kind of forced it on him. So
Right. It's kind of sad.
it is. It really is. And I don't know what else cultural, any other cultural stuff stand out from you. Um,
Um,
and again, the homeless. I guess it's real bad in Denver now, but where we went to like the Meow Wolf was kind of away from downtown, and all the illegals in Denver now. They have like the highest crime rate now with stealing cars is Denver. It's
it's
really amazing
crazy.
because I grew up in the Colorado area, in Colorado, and the Denver area, and it used to always be pretty low crime, very affordable, a red state, and all the Californians moved into it, and they literally now the governor's a homosexual Jewish man. They have these radical judges. They don't believe in arresting people of color when they do crimes, and the whole thing is just spinning out of control. There, it's just crazy from where it used to be, and so, and in LA, like Sasha had that lady came up to her homeless lady, hey, can I borrow your phone? I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. So,
Oh, Carrie Cox just gave you 4.99 or gave us 4.99.
oh,
Thank
is
you,
that
Carrie.
okay, sometimes it just takes a little bit to, let me just bring that up here. So thank you, Carrie Cox. I really do
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate
And thanks for the movies. She's the one that gave us the Mae West collection. I don't think you've ever seen any Mae West movies, have you?
I don't think so. I'd like to see some of that. Yeah.
She's funny. Mosca said he said she's just an old whore, but I like her movies. And it's kind of like, well, she saved Paramount from going bankrupt. You know that, right? Like
I
she was like number one
really,
for a long time. Yeah, she was. And she
I
was
didn't
old.
know
She was
that.
like my age when she got into. I think she did vaudeville before, and
Mhm.
she was always in trouble for pushing boundaries and stuff. But she was funny, and she kind of like played the same character in every movie. Like
Yeah.
Mae West was a character. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you'd like her movies. They're fun. She's fun to watch.
Oh, it's funny at night. We would always turn on the cable because we don't have TV
Oh
here.
yeah,
So we don't. We just watch the internet stuff. But there they had TV in the hotel rooms when we watch like Families Feud, and it's like they have the Steve Harvey. Is that his name? He's a black
yeah.
guy. And
Oh
then
gosh,
Sasha said his whole thing of being funny is I'm loud and I'm black.
it is. And he lets the black families cheat.
Well,
Like I
there's
swear to God,
always
the thing will ding and they're done. They'll be doing
yeah.
their final round or whatever, and they'll be asking him questions and they'll get stumped and the thing will ding and he'll let them answer anyway, even though the thing dinged. And it's like, no, their time's up. You don't let them go.
Well, they always have a black family on too. Always.
Well, he probably makes them, I'm
Yeah, he
sure.
probably does. But yeah, he's like
I told you my when my grandma was still alive, my mom stayed with my grandma, and she had cable, and that my grandma said that's all she wanted to watch. And she goes, I was so sick of hearing Steve Harvey. She said she'd listen to that for like 10 hours a day because they'd have those marathons. And she said she went to finally go to bed because she felt like she was going to have a panic attack if she had to listen to any more Steve Harvey. And she said that my mom turned it off and went in and said, "Mom, I turned off Steve Harvey."
he's
He's
not
just
that
so,
funny.
he was
He
just so
really isn't.
irritated.
I
He's
know.
not. And then they have questions about Steve Harvey. And
Oh
it's like, if
yeah,
Steve Harvey were a sweater, what color would he be? Just like
I know.
stupid shit. And some of the questions don't even make sense. Like, I like that. I used to love Family Feud. It's fun to play it. If you
I
have like a
liked it
board
with
game,
like I remember with Richard
I
Dawson.
like
He
Richard
was
Dawson. He was always drunk and making out with everybody.
yeah, he was a from Hogan's Heroes, and he was like, yeah, that was funny. And you could actually have two white families going against each other. Like that was the norm, and it was now it's all yeah, it's kind of ghetto how it's
It
become.
is. I
And I
know.
didn't realize it because we don't have TV here. Oh, the other thing you see because because we don't have TV. When you watch TV, my God, I don't think you can have a commercial without a black in it. I really don't.
You can't.
It's just incredible.
Or, and like
And
all the commercials are for drugs.
oh yeah,
Uh,
the commercials are for drugs, lawyers. Boy, if you think all the billboards in L.A., New Mexico, is just a bunch of shysters trying to sue each other. That's our
it
economy.
is. It
And so
is pretty
sometimes
much.
I wonder really about the GDP. We're always like, oh, Russia's just a gas station with nukes. We have such a bigger economy than Russia. California is bigger than all of Russia. I'm like, is it? I mean, it depends how you define GDP. I mean, some OnlyFans whore showing her butt counts as GDP in America, right? And I'm like, should it? I think manufacturing means a little bit more. But in the United States, it just seems all about drugs and suing each other, and the pharmaceuticals. I there was all these ads. I guess the demographics watching these shows, they assume you're old and need a
Yeah. Well,
pharmaceutical.
there was
I didn't
dog.
even
I
know
saw
some
some.
of the stuff they were advertising for because they wouldn't even tell you. It's just
You had to guess. Well, there I did see some dog commercials. That's funny because
mhm,
Button gets mad if the
mhm,
TV's on, and we were watching something and they rang a doorbell or something. She like
mhm.
starts barking in the
Yeah,
hotel because
you're like shh.
we had to smuggle her around. It was kind of
Yep.
fun. Most of the places we stayed allowed dogs, but we didn't want to pay an extra deposit
Right.
because Excalibur charged or MGM resorts charge $100 a night according to their website per the room charge plus the room charge. So if you're staying there and it's like $100 a night, it's going to be $200 if you tell them you have a pet and you don't get it back. And like
No.
and Button's not trouble at all, really. She
Right.
just sits there. She's really lazy and really dumb, and she just like sits around. And the worst thing she do is bark at the TV.
Well, she's a
So
little dog too.
it was funny when we were leaving. I didn't see it because I was down there getting that coffee, but Paul was taking her down the elevator, or he started to, and he said the elevator door opened. There was some massive dog just woof woof woof, and Button got scared to death, was
Oh
all
yeah.
quivering. But she acts all tough, like when
Yeah.
TV's on. And then when they closed the road on I-70, and we had to pull over the side, this guy with him, like he was, I guess, would you say he was like working on the road, or I don't know
Yeah.
what the guy's job was, but he was just like, "Hey guys, we got to get over here," and he talked kind of like a hippie almost.
Yeah, he said we got a gnarly situation up there,
Yeah,
and I'm like, wow, this
yeah.
is like a flashback to the '70s.
And he had a mustache. He
Yeah,
looked
he
like he
looked
was
like
from
he
the
was from the
'70s.
'70s. He was
It
like
was
a
funny.
we used to call him ski bums. I don't know,
Yeah.
kind of like a beach bum, but he was like this white blonde guy. Man, a gnarly situation up there with the snow.
Well, he was
Because
Button was sitting in the back. Sorry to interrupt. She was sitting in
yeah,
the back seat, and we didn't almost forget she's there because she never makes any noise or anything.
yeah,
And you just hear "Arr," like to
yeah.
that
So she's
guy.
growling at him.
That's like, yeah, you're really gonna do anything, Button? Like you're just a big scaredy.
She's scared of cats. I mean,
She's scared
so
of Louise.
I know. So it's not
So
like yeah, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, so yeah, we took her along, but she well. She really is probably the best dog I've ever had in a car because she doesn't. You forget about her. She's so quiet. She just
you
lays in the
do.
back seat and sleeps the whole way. And then we take her out to go to the walker and then feed her, and she's fine. She's a really good
Mhm.
dog that way.
She doesn't
Uh
chew up anything. She doesn't even play ball.
no, she doesn't know how to play fetch. Like when we got
Buddy
her,
plays fetch.
I threw the ball. We inherited her from
My dad.
Sasha's dad, and so I said, "Here, catch the tennis ball." She's like, "What the hell?" And she just looked at it. I'm not going to go after that.
Which is funny because my cat Buddy is the complete opposite. You can call Button's name and she'll just stand there
Mhm.
like a stump, just like she's not even hearing you and just ignore you. But like my cat Buddy, if I holler right now, he'll come down. He'll play fetch
Yeah,
with me for hours, like the point where you're annoyed with it. Like I don't want to play fetch with you anymore. And he chews up stuff like a dog. It's almost like their spirits got crossed or something. Like he's more like a dog and she's like, I don't know, a dumb dog that doesn't do anything but bark at TV commercials. She's sweet, but well, kind of sweet. She got mad at me the last night we were in Colorado. She was on my side of the bed, and I kind of nudged her to scoot over because my leg was on her, and she hadn't moved in like hours, it seemed like. And then she went up and she was like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," and like tried to bite me or something, and I smacked her. I was like, "Get off the bed." She does that sometimes if you're in her spot. But
yeah.
she
She
just looks
gets
at Paul. She looks at Paul like, "Oh, I just love you," and she watches his every move. He can't go to the bathroom, and she's waiting at the door for him.
yeah.
It's
She's
like
kind of
really
attached
funny.
to me.
She is.
We got a question from Johnny. This is a good question. Are there no longer animal shows in Vegas? Lion and
Mm.
tiger shows like the old Siegfried and Roy routine that used to be done there. That reminds me, before I answer your question, Johnny, one of the great things we did, and if you're in Vegas, I highly recommend it. We went to the Lion
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. It's off the strip, so you have to drive there. They used to supply the Lions for MGM, but the MGM casino, they quit that because they want to, I don't know, make more money or
Well, she
something.
said that because of where they were, it was when they were trying to kind of de-kitsch Vegas, I
Yeah,
guess. They decided they could sell out that space or rent out that space that the Lions took up,
yeah.
so they got rid of them. But yeah, that's really a neat exhibit. And they had a giraffe. What was
It
the
was
giraffe's
great.
name? Was his name Ozzy? I can't remember
Yeah,
his name
and
was.
Sasha fed the giraffe, and
Yeah,
that
for
was
like
good.
$10 you can feed him, and he's real sweet. I petted his head, and then they told me I wasn't allowed to touch him. Since COVID, you can't touch the giraffe,
No, we'll
which
put
I
a
don't
mask on
know.
him.
I don't know what the if I'm going to give the giraffe COVID or what, but
Yeah.
and I guess his father. And I wonder if I met this giraffe's father because there's a place in Wichita called Tanganyika, and I've been there before. Years ago, I went there, like probably 10 years ago, and there was a giraffe, and it was the same situation where you could pay some money to feed it. And I fed the giraffe, and I don't remember there being a lot of giraffes there, but they said that Ozzy, see, Buddy's here now because he heard me say his name. Um, his father they were from Tanganyika, but the father did not like the son giraffe, and he didn't want anything to do with him. So Tanganyika gave up or sold him to this place in Vegas. So I wonder if I fed his father also. But
It was a good. It was a good.
no,
It was. I liked it because it was
I did
more than
too.
just a zoo where you just look at things. They actually would talk. The keepers would talk to you and explain things. It was really intimate. I thought it was a lot better than a zoo, and they seemed to take care of the animals well, and it was really neat. It was
Yeah, it's a
worth it.
sanctuary. Yeah, and they knew because I had mentioned we talked to this lady working there probably half an hour. It seemed like me and Paul did, and we were just talking about stuff. And she knew about Turpentine Creek because I mentioned that, and she said that they got. I think she said that they all were part of somewhat rescue where they rescued some
Mhm.
animals, and Turpentine Creek was one of the ones that did. So it's kind of funny. Turpentine Creek's kind of like famous if you talk. Like it's famous in the rescue community. Like if you talk to people, like almost every sanctuary I've been to, if you mention it, people know
Yeah.
because they have a bunch of tigers. I'm going on a road trip. Maybe Paul's going to this summer. He hasn't decided yet, but I'm going to meet like one of my friends from like junior high at Dollywood, and there's a tiger sanctuary on the way called Tiger Haven. And I've always wanted to go, and it's supposed to be huge too. I think it's got like 300 tigers, but they get them all like rescue. But it's in Tennessee also.
But to answer your question, Johnny, I do know they had what's that guy that does have a pet show in Vegas that we saw in Fayetteville?
Oh,
He takes,
Popovich. Popovich is
yeah.
awesome. He gets his animals like cats and dogs.
Hmm.
I don't think he could train Buddy, but he gets like animals from the shelter
Hmm.
and trains them to jump through hoops. It's the coolest show. Like we haven't seen the one in Vegas, but I've seen him twice in Fayetteville. I think next time we go to Vegas, we should go to see his show. Like
Yeah.
we've gone to see almost all the Cirque du Soleils now.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to say about Vegas, and I started going, I think, in 1985 when I first went, it's always reinventing itself. It always has a new vibe. And when I first went to Vegas, it was the era of the showgirls where they're topless, and that was a big thing. And then you'd have all these specialty acts, and it was cool, the big production. But there's almost none of those shows anymore. Those are almost gone.
Well, Dita Von Teese has a show like that at the Horseshoe, and I wanted to see it, but she's
I,
never there. Every
I,
time we've gone, she's on vacation. She's gone
I,
this week.
I,
She's gone at
it,
Thanksgiving.
I would like to take you to an old school Vegas show.
Well,
It's
that's
too
what
bad they're gone.
well,
Yeah,
that's what her show is. Like if you
but
look it
right
up,
now,
it's an old school Vegas show.
what's popular are these Cirque Soleils, which are good. I mean, they're like a circus, but they're set to music and artsy. We went to Ca and O, and we were way up front. We didn't really necessarily get the best seats because we were on the side, but it's kind of cool being up front because you can see the performers really up close. So, but I enjoy those, but they're kind of get a little bit the same in my opinion. I
I
don't
like
know.
the Michael Jackson one the best. I know you don't, but
Yeah.
I thought that one was my favorite because I thought it was real creative. Because I love the music, because they use
Mhm.
all his really good music, and they had dancing and the Cirque du Soleil stuff. It wasn't just like acrobats. I thought Ka and O were both really good too, but oh, and then
I
I
think
saw
I think they're overhyped, honestly, a
they
little
kind
bit.
of are because I was in
Yeah.
some ways I even thought that about O because I saw
Yeah.
some Chinese acrobats in Branson, and honestly, they were about as good as like the
Hmm.
ones in Vegas. They were really good, like the
Yeah,
ones
these
here.
girls, they're like contortionists. And they put their bodies in
Well,
weird
that's what
ways.
these Chinese people
Yeah.
did in Branson, and they were good. And the only difference really was they didn't have the really, really good stage. Like they had that really neat water stage. That's what made it really cool. Like, oh, and then Ka had that cool, like, rotating stage. And that was a really cool part where they're trying to climb up the
Yeah.
stuff. Like you said, that one probably had more energy than O, but everyone says, "Oh, is the best," and it was good, but I almost felt a little disappointed because I didn't think it was as good as the Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
my
Like I thought it,
expectations were high. Yeah.
yeah, mine too. I thought the Michael Jackson one was better, and so next time we're going to go see the Beatles. And what do we have left? We haven't seen the Beatles. We haven't seen Mad Apple. Oh, and Mystery. Those are the three we haven't seen. I said we should see all of them.
Well, and
But
Sasha also wants to see David Copperfield, the magic show. We haven't
yeah,
seen.
because he's getting old. Like Brando said, he might not be around forever.
No, I know. So it was. We'll check that out. So that was.
Oh, and I saw a show without Paul. I told you I saw that Potted Potter show, which was like these two guys like kind of making fun of Harry Potter for 70 minutes. They go through all the
Yeah, I
books.
didn't go because I never read Harry Potter, and you had to know Potter to get the jokes, right?
Right. It was kind of
Yeah.
like it reminded me of this show that I saw here, which I thought was actually better than Potted Potter. It was this one man show where this guy did all three of the Star Wars movies in like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went through and he did like this thing. He was really funny because the Potted Potter premise was like it's these two guys. One of them is a Harry Potter expert. The other one supposedly never read the books. And so he's supposed to get stuff so they can put on this Harry Potter like show. And for a dragon, he gets like a puppet. Like he gets all this cheap crap. And he's kind of the funny one. And then the other guy's playing Harry, and the other guy plays all the other parts. And he changes wigs. I mean, it's silly and it's funny and it gets interactive. Like they brought some kids up from the stage and had them like we like played a game of Gryffindor where they divided the audience in half. I was on Slytherin and the other side was Gryffindor, and you're like tossing up this ball trying to get it through the hoop like it's supposed to be like Quidditch. And so I mean it was fun.
They
It
also
was
have
one of the cheaper shows.
They also in Vegas have big name or performers like Bruce Springsteen was coming in a couple of weeks in the E Street. I didn't know he's still around. And who else? There was some other big name that was coming.
I think Adele was just there. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I think well the last time we went I think Depeche Mode was going to be there like a week within us being there. That's what always happens when we go. The only band we ever saw there was Tesla. We saw them at the House of Blues.
They were good. I never knew anything about Tesla, and
it's weird to be an '80s guy and never even heard any of their songs.
I know.
Like I think you'd at least heard one or two on the radio. Well, I guess after 1983, you just stopped listening to the radio or something.
They're elderly, but they did okay. They didn't break a hip or anything, so good for them.
Yeah, I thought they were good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They sold out too.
Oh,
you got to be quick to get your tickets up there. They sell out.
Yeah.
Like I always try to tell Paul, we don't want to dick around because last time we didn't get to see O because we waited around and they didn't have any seats. I saw some seats though this time that were empty, but they were more in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time we went Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving to me just seemed packed. Like this time was less packed. Like when we went to the buffet and everything, it wasn't like crazy lines. Like we went to Luxor for Thanksgiving last year, the buffet, and it was like crazy long. Remember how long we had to wait in line just to even get in the buffet, or to get like meat, you had to wait in a long line. I thought the Excalibur's dessert buffet was better than the Luxor because they had carrot cake and coconut cream pie on their buffet.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time and did a lot of stuff. So
yeah, we did. Oh, and then he took me to the Rio.
Yeah,
and I'd never been there, and they had a Kiss museum. I was like, what is this? I said, there's all this Kiss stuff in here. And I thought that's cool because I was like there when I was in high school. And I went and I just saw all this merch and everything, and it said museum. And I said, there's a museum in there? And he's like, yeah. And it was like $12 to go in and look at the museum. And they had like mini golf, blacklight mini golf with the big height, like the big platform shoes and everything. And I told Paul next time we go, we should do that. Like go through that would be fun.
I've stayed previously at the Rio. It's off the strip a little bit on the other side of, is it 15? But it's a nice place. It's fun. When our first night, we had troubles finding a hotel because we didn't have a reservation. It was a Friday night.
Oh man.
We were thinking we might be in the car all night, but we found a place. But
finally.
It finally worked out.
Oh, you got a rant.
Oh, rant. Okay, great. Always good to get rants. I'd like to support Rumble. Is this guy, Sasha, what you would love to see? Let's see. Yeah, this is let me just show you what he brought up a YouTube video.
Was it Popovich?
Yeah, Popovich. That's it.
Yeah, just mute it and you can play clip so you don't get
Yeah.
music
Oh, that's a
on
good
there.
idea.
Oh, so you got to get ad block.
Yeah, no,
I
get
should have clicked on it because
the
I have ad
empower
block.
black women doing shit.
Oh, there's a kitty. There we go. Aw, there's Button.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, we should go to the one in Vegas. It might even be different than the one I saw in Fayetteville. I think
Mhm.
they change them up every so often. He had a black cat at the first one I saw about 10 years
Both
ago
has the
here.
goat
And
birds and
the cat just ran across the stage and he said, "You know what this cat can do? Run across the stage." Like the cat couldn't do anything else. Oh, that looks like Cher.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's a nice man. I like Popovich. He gets his animals from the shelter. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So thank you for the rant, Row House. Yeah, that is the show.
He had
We've
a
seen that show.
GoFundMe a few years ago. He was trying to get a silent movie made with his animals, and I remember I donated to it, but it never got off the ground.
Mhm.
You'd think that'd be something Hollywood could like give some money to, but no.
Oh, we got a super chat, and let me do this from Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. I really do appreciate this. Let me just see if I can read this here. The Mexican flag shows an eagle versus a snake. Gryffindor defeating Slytherin, or was it Egyptian gods Ra defeating ISIS? Really the same shit. It was so funny because Sasha knows all. I didn't understand all the houses and Harry Potter and what house did you take a quiz and you're in a certain house? I would
Well, I
like to be
took
in the evil house, the Slytherins. Is that what they call them?
Yeah, well, you should
Slytherin?
take the quiz, but I don't know. I took a quiz like years and years ago, and I got Hufflepuff, and they seem like kind of like the stupid like class or whatever. They're
Yeah,
not like the brave, and
yeah,
I'm not really sure what they're known for. They have I like their colors, and they have a
yeah,
badger as their
yeah.
mascot. But I took it again the other night, and I got Ravenclaw.
Ooh, they're the
Maybe I've
smart
moved up
ones,
in the
right?
law.
Yeah.
It says they're creative. I don't know Gryffindor's, but they're all smart, I guess,
What was
except
Harry
maybe
Potter
Hufflepuff.
part of? I forget.
Gryffindor.
Oh, it was
Gryffindor. That's
Gryffindor.
the
Okay.
lion.
Yeah,
Ravenclaw's the raven. Hufflepuff's the badger, and Slytherin's the snake.
yeah. Like I said, I wasn't really until recently tuned into the Harry Potter stuff. So,
Yeah, you
but
should.
people used to always do that reference. I remember 4 years ago when Trump was running, all these shitlibs were like, "Oh, Trump is like Voldemort,
Oh,
right? He's the bad
please.
guy.
Yeah,
We can't say his name even." And I'm like, "Oh, Lord." So
stupid.
I know. So, well, should we wrap up, Sasha?
Sure, it's after 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will,
You still
guys.
there?
I will. Yeah, I'm here. Did I lose you?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you might like roboted for a second.
Okay, maybe a little lag. Guys, it's been so much fun being back, and thank you for your generous support. I love it, so thank you. And we will tomorrow the Ramsey Paul show at 11 a.m. Central, and I'll be doing my short videos again. It's good to be back here and getting into it. And oh yeah, Sasha K-Mex in the chat said has a Snoopy sweatshirt. You got a lot of cute shirts. So,
I do. I got this one pretty cheap too.
yeah. All right, guys. We will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye.